welcome on Econ Easy. So today's going to be about market equilibriums, how the market equilibrium react to shocks in either the demand or the supply. And we're going to see that with some practical examples. But first, let's do a quick recap. If you haven't seen my two previous videos, I recommend that you do check them out. The first one was about the demand, and we learned why the demand is downward sloping, and we also talked about the 5 big shifters of demand. And the second video was about the supply, and this time we learned why the supply is upward sloping and what are the 5 big shifters of supply. And at the end, we put both of these curves together and we talked about market equilibrium with the equilibrium price and equilibrium quantity. That's when the quantity supplied and the quantity demanded are equal. And we talked about surpluses, if you remember. So surpluses happen when the price is higher than the equilibrium price, and in that case, and we see here that the quantity demanded is lower than the quantity supplied, and so it leads to a surplus, which is equal to the difference between these two quantities. And we also talked about shortages, which happen when the price charged is lower than the equilibrium price. And in that case, we see that the quantity supplied this time is lower than the quantity demanded. So there is too much quantity demanded. This is the shortage. It's equal to the difference between these two quantities. All right. And so today we're going to study what happens to the market equilibrium, to the supply, the demand, when there are some shocks. And we will look specifically at the milk market with some practical examples. So we are asking ourselves what happens to the market equilibrium if, and we have 6 questions. And so basically I will let you pause the video and try to do, so you have 6 graphs to do. And depending on the case, you will have to determine if it's the supply or if it's the demand or both or none of them moving, and what happens to the price and what happens to the quantity at equilibrium. And what happens to the price, what happens to the quantity at equilibrium. Okay, so I'll let you pause the video, try to do that by yourself, and come back when you're done, and I will explain each of the examples. All right. So the first example was what happens if there is a new disease causing cows to die. Well, this is shifting the supply to the left. This is decreasing the supply because obviously there will be less cows to produce milk. And so what happens to the equilibrium? Well, it's here. This is our new equilibrium. Nothing happens to the demand. And we see that the price increases and the quantity decreases. Okay? Second example. What happens if the price of milk decreases? Remember that the price of our good is not one of the 5 big shifters of either supply or demand. It makes us move along the same curve. So if the price decreases, coming here, this is my new quantity supplied and this is my new quantity demanded. What is happening? I have a shortage. And what will happen in the market in the long run? The price will slowly increase so that the quantity supplied and demanded are equal again at the same equilibrium. All right, next one. A new study says that milk is very bad for your health. This is a shock to the demand. and it's a negative shock, so it is decreasing the demand, so shifting to the left. Our new equilibrium is here. We see that the price decreases and the quantity decreases too. Remember that preferences or tastes or even expectations, but in this time it's more like your preferences are influenced by, of course, if it is good or bad for your health, and it is a shifter of demand. So, fourth example, what happens if the price of cereals, which is a complement of milk, increases? And you have to remember that the price of related goods, so substitutes or complements, are one of the 5 big shifters of the demand. So here the price of a complement increases, which will decrease the demand. So it is shifting the demand to the left. All right. And so our new equilibrium is here. The price decreases and the quantity decreases as well. Why? Because if the price of the complement increases, I will buy less of that good. And since it's a complement, I will also buy less of the initial good or the related good, which is the milk here. Okay. Now, there is a new technology which allows the producers to milk the cows faster. Okay. So remember that technology is a shifter of supply. So since they will be able to milk the cows faster, it will increase the supply, so shifting the supply to the right. Okay, our new equilibrium is here. The price decreases and the quantity increases. Okay, and the last example is if the price of orange juice, which is a substitute to milk in that case, increases. So remember, it's a shifter of demand. Our new equilibrium is here, and we have the price which increases and the quantity which increases. Why? Because people who were buying orange juice are now buying milk instead. Okay? So you have to understand that we use these graphs a lot to understand or to predict what will happen in the market following a certain shock. I really hope that these examples helped you understand how it works, and it will make your life easier for your courses or your exams. And don't hesitate to get in touch with me if you have any questions, because it is very, very important that you understand how the graphs work, how the demand and how the supply work and react to external shocks. And yeah, I hope that you enjoyed that video. Don't hesitate to like, subscribe, and leave me a comment. And I will see you soon in another video. Bye.